Hello everyone and welcome to our presentation where we discuss the world fuel consumption. The highlight of this analysis is to show the significance of growth in global fuel consumption over the last 2 decades. And addressing this growth can help address the challenges required and the efforts to enhance the energy efficiency which promotes sustainable practice and to accelerate the transition towards renewable energy resources. So from the graph we can see that over the last 20 years the global fuel consumption has experienced a significant increase. As we can see, the total consumption measured in the year 2000 was 388 exajoules, and it went up all the way to 592 exajoules in the year 2022. This represents an overall growth of 52.6% over the last 2 decades. Now this growth is driven by factors such as population growth, economic development, an increase in purchasing power, the rapid industrialization, urbanization, technological advancements, and the increased accessibility of energy resources. So the yearly consumption per capita, that is the consumption per person, we can see that it has also shown an upward trajectory. Although there were some fluctuations due to varying economic conditions, the per capita consumption has still increased over the last 2 decades from 12,000 units to 13,000 units. This is attributed to reasons such as the rise in living standards, an increased use of electronic devices, and a greater dependency on energy-intensive resources. So as we can see, that's the graph for the yearly consumption per capita. We can definitely see that from the year 2008 and 2009 there was a significant dip, and that is probably due to the economic crisis of the housing bubble that happened during that year, and then of course the year 2020, where we can see that the COVID-19 pandemic definitely had something to do with the significant dip in energy consumption per capita. So this highlights the sensitivity of energy consumption to global economic conditions and crises. So then we took a look at the total consumption by regions. So this is influenced by things like population size, economic development, industrial activities. From the chart we can see that the Asia Pacific region has the highest consumption per region, then it's followed by North America, and then after that it is followed by Europe. But when we take a look at the top 10 countries' consumption per capita, we can see that clearly from the graph we can easily tell that it has to do with purchasing power and the GDP per capita. So we can tell, you got countries like Qatar, Singapore, Iceland, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Canada, Norway, Luxembourg, United States. So all of these countries have affluent lifestyles. The only anomaly in this list is probably Trinidad and Tobago. So the fuel consumption per capita concentrated in these few countries is obviously due to, one, energy intensive industries, and two, the affluent lifestyle. Now the anomaly in Trinidad and Tobago, which ranks the 5th in consumption per capita, this exceptionally high level of energy consumption is due to the presence of energy-intensive industries such as ammonia, methanol, fertilizers, and aluminum production. Next, we took a look at the consumption by fuel type. So while there is some increase in the renewable energy sector, the world still remains heavily dependent on fossil fuels. So we can see from the chart that oil represents 30% of the fuel consumption in the world, and then we have 24% by natural gas. Now you may not be able to see that because I've got the video recording here, but that third section is made up by coal consumption, which is 27%. This dependency poses significant challenges for global efforts to combat climate change. So there is a significant shift towards renewable energy when we compare. So for example, if we look at the year 2021, the renewable energy consumption made up 6.76%, while in the year 2022, it went up all the way to 7.57%. So there is a shift towards renewable energy, and this gradual but noticeable shift is good news, but we're still heavily dependent on the consumption of fossil fuels. And I will move on to my colleague now to continue. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Dai Juping. Today I will talk about global energy and carbon dioxide emissions analysis. The first, we can see trace in energy emissions. The chart shows that global energy emissions are growing up. From 2000 to 2015, emissions increased a lot, showing faster industrial growth and economic development. After 2015, the growth rate slowed down, and in 2020, emissions slightly decreased. This might be because of environmental policy and more use of renewable energy. The second, we can see carbon dioxide emissions by country. The map shows that the main emitting countries are in the northern hemisphere, especially China, India, the United States, Russia, and Japan. Those countries have high levels of industry and energy use, so they emitted more carbon dioxide. This reminds us that major emitters have a bigger responsibility in global climate governance and need to take more action to reduce emissions. The second, we can see trace in carbon dioxide emissions by country. The chart shows that China's emissions have been going up, making it one of the largest emitters. Emissions from the United States and Russia are stable, while India's and Japan's emissions are rising. This shows that even though emissions from some developed countries have stabilized, emerging economies' emissions are growing quickly, bringing new challenges to global climate change. Analysis of oil consumption by country. The data shows oil production and consumption for different years, along with oil price choice. From the table, we can see that oil consumption went up from 1965 to 1969, when oil production showed fluctuations. Nominal oil price stayed the same during this period, but adjusted prices showed a downward trend because of fluctuation. Conclusion. In conclusion, global carbon dioxide emissions are still a big problem, and countries need to work together to promote green energy. Major emitters should take more responsibility by using new technology and policies to reduce emissions and protect our planet. The oil price analysis shows that while nominal prices stayed the same, adjusted prices went down because of inflation.
Hello everyone, today I will talk about renewable energy. Using this three chart, we can see how different types of renewable energy have changed over time. In the first chart, we see the growth of different types of the renewable energy from 2000 to 2020. The blue line shows hydropower, the orange line shows solar power, and the dark blue line shows wind power. From the chart, we can see hydropower has been growing steadily. Solar power and wind power have grown a lot after 2010, especially solar power, which is grow very fast since 2015. This data shows that with better technology and support from the government, solar and wind power are becoming more and more important in the world. In the second chart, we see the share of renewable energy in total energy over time. From the chart, we can see hydropower still has a large share but grows slowly. The share of solar and wind power is growing every year, especially wind power. This shows that even though hydropower is still the main renewable energy, the share of solar and wind power is getting bigger. In the third pie chart, we see the different types of renewable energy in total. Hydropower makes up 79.11%, which is the most important renewable energy. Wind power makes up 14.86%. Solar power makes up 6.03%, which is smaller. Overall, this chart shows that renewable energy is becoming more important, especially solar and wind power, which are growing fast and providing new energy for the future. From the data, we can see three main points. First, hydropower is still the most important renewable energy, but it grows slowly. Second, solar and wind power have grown a lot in recent years, especially solar power. Third, with better technology and support from the government, the share of renewable energy will continue to grow.
Hi, Professor. My name is Li Wenzhuo, and my work is two-part. This is the first part. This part showing the contribution of different fuel types of total electricity generation over time. This picture shows three different types of fuel. And first, the natural gas remains the dominant fuel type for electricity generation, and indicating its growing importance in energy mix. And then coal shows a marginal decrease in use, and the oil is minimal and remain relatively stable. And about the renewable energy source, first, the hydroelectric saw an increase on its contribution, and any other hydro there was a noticeable rise. This reflects the global trend towards increasing investment and renewable energy infrastructure, and the nuclear energy is decreased slightly from 2021 to 2022, and any other sources, which includes less common source of electricity generation, remained relatively small of period. And this is the second part. This part shows the relationship between oil price and oil production from 1960 to 2022. This picture shows the relationship between oil price and oil production. This chart shows the key points. First is the oil production and consumption trends. The data shows that oil consumption increased significantly from 1965 to 1969. This rise in consumption reflects a growing demand for oil, possibly driven by industrialization, economic growth, and increasing energy needs during this period. And it shows the oil price and inflation adjustment. The stability of nominal price amidst rising consumption suggests that oil market might have been influenced by strong regulatory mechanism or pricing agreements that kept prices stable despite increasing demand. However, the declining real price adjust for inflation highlights the importance of considering economic conditions and the value of money over time when analyzing historical pricing data. This picture shows us trend and insights. In most years, the production values appear incorrect, while consumption values show a consistent upward trend. The increasing consumption indicates growing demand for oil over the years, and we can see that the nominal oil price remained stable at $1.80 per barrel throughout the period. When adjusted to 2022, the real price of oil shows a decline. This indicates that while the nominal price was stable, the real purchasing power of money was decreasing, leading to a low real price. And at the end, we can know the oil consumption increased consistently, reflecting growing demand. And this is all. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Hong. Now I gonna give my presentation. The key findings of the visualization. Over the past 20 years, global fuel consumption has significantly increased. Per capita annual consumption has also trended upward, uh, reflecting improved living standard, increased use of electronic devices, and greater dependence on energy intensive services. Uh, Despite the increasing share of renewable energy, the world remains heavily dependent on fossil fuels, posing significant challenges for global efforts to combat climate change. From 2000 to 2015, global CO2 emissions rose substantially due to industrial growth and economic development. Although the growth rate of emissions slowed after 2015, there was a slight decrease in 2020, possibly due to environmental policy and increased use of renewable. Major emitting countries, especially in the northern hemisphere, such as China, India, the US, Russia, and Japan, bear significant responsibility for global emissions. There has been an increase in electric power and other renewables, while nuclear energy's contribution has slightly increased. Now give the recommendation for the research data collection. For the research and data collection, focus on conducting in-depth studies on the impact of specific economic conditions and process on energy consumption patterns. Additionally, exploring the potential for renewable energy expansion in regions with high fossil fuel dependency is essential. Investigating the long-term effects of recent environmental policies and renewable energy investments on global emission and energy consumption will provide valuable insights for future energy strategies and policy making. Finally, now I'll give my recommendation to address the processing issues of global fuel consumption and CO2 emission. Countries need to collaborate to promote green energy by adopting new technologies and policies aimed at reduce emission and protecting the planet. Develop a robust strategy to manage energy consumption during economic downturns and crises is essential for maintaining economic resilience. Major estimating countries must be take a greater responsibility for reducing emission emissions through targeted actions and international collaboration, continued investment in and support for renewable energy technologies such as solar, wind, and hydropower are crucial for a sustainable energy future. Additionally, enhancing data accuracy and transparency in energy reporting, incentivizing the adoption of energy efficient practices and implementing stricter environmental regulation can further support global efforts to combat climate change and promote sustainable development. Thank you.